It's your girl, Angel Sky, coming at you for Motivational Monday. So I haven't done Motivational Mondays in a while, and some of you have been asking about, Motivational Monday. So I figure, hey, I'll do another Motivational Monday this week, see how it does, go from there. So if you saw the thumbnail, we're talking about losing weight, a struggle for pretty much 90% of America. It's hard. It's very hard to lose weight because it is a life change. Like, it is a life-changing thing that you have to overcome. And to me, it's a lot like an addiction. It's like a food addiction, and you have to literally change everything about your everyday life in order to get to your goal. So it's still February. Our New Year's resolutions are still fresh. So let's get it. Like, it's not too late. Let's get it done. Like, let's lose that weight. So I have some tips for you that I think will be very helpful and useful for your losing weight journey. So let me share them with you today. So number one is, just like I said before, get ready to change your life and to change your priorities. Priorities are something that we have put in place whether we know it or whether we don't. You can put something high on the priority, but if you actually don't do it, it's not really a priority, right? So we say, okay, this is important, I got to do this, but then we never actually do it. We never actually follow through. And there's so many things that we have to change in order to get the results that we need. So make sure you know your journey, you know your goal, you have it set in front of you every day you wake up. I don't care if you have to set an alarm, if you have to put a picture up on your wall so as soon as you wake up you see it and it gets you pumped and it gets you energized. Because if this is truly what you want, go get it. Don't wait. Start now. Like, stop saying, oh, this is not a good week for me because I have this, this, and this. Because at the end of the day, you have to change your life around this. So just little tips and tricks like that will really help. Another one is, obviously, eat early, not late. So breakfast should be your main focus. Then you taper off as the day goes on. So eat a big breakfast. As soon as you wake up, whatever you can stomach, eat a good breakfast. You have to think your body's been sleeping for at least 8 hours. So it needs to be re-energized. You got to restart that battery, and it needs the nutrients to do so, right? So breakfast is so important. And I think somewhere along the line, we took food and made it, like a temptation, like a personal thing. And, it's something that we like take pleasure in. And that's not what it's ultimately supposed to be for. Food is supposed to be nourishment for your body. So if you can kind of look at food like that rather than a tasty treat, it's about kind of having a mix, a good healthy mix of all the foods that your body needs. Not that you want to taste or want to eat. I think everybody should always indulge, especially if you're working so hard, but make sure you have a proper diet to where your body is getting everything it needs to do what it needs to do every day. So I think we kind of lost track somewhere in the process of having food being like, indulging and treat and tempting, which it still can be, but it also has to have that nutritional aspect that your body physically needs. So make sure you kind of have that understanding in the back of your head that this food that I eat needs to be nutritional in all aspects of my body so that my body can do what it needs to do to every day replenish and re-energize and so on and so forth. Because obviously the food that you eat, the food that you put in your body has a lot to do with your mood and how your body reacts. So think about that, instead of thinking it as like a treat. So eat early, not late. So try to have a nice big breakfast, nice big healthy breakfast. And then as the later the day goes on, just try not to eat such a big meal. Because you have to understand, as the day goes on, you're doing less and less and less. So you don't want all this food being stuck in your digestive tract overnight, because while you sleep, you're not really going to digest it properly. Your body's already trying to do a massive amount of things, and then you're making it try to digest all this food you just had before you went to sleep. So even if you're going to sneak in something like candy bars or a cake or something, do it as early on in the day as humanly possible. I know that's hard because a lot of people who have sweet tooths, it's always like later at night. So try that. Try eating more or, indulging earlier on in the day rather than later, because you have a long day of getting stuff done. So you'll in turn burn off those calories. Next one, I think is pretty much like a given. You need to exercise. And by exercising, I'm not like, oh my gosh, go to the gym, get a gym membership. If that helps, like not everybody feels comfortable enough to go to the gym. I know I don't. I would much rather work out at home with my kids just because that's where I feel comfortable, like as a woman doing certain, positions, and I just don't feel comfortable in a gym. Like I would rather do it in my home and feel comfortable. So I don't think that you need to go out and buy a gym membership and spend all this money, because most of the things you can do at home. And even like, maybe on your break at work, going for a walk, instead of like taking 30 minutes and just not doing anything and kind of sitting there, go for a walk, like try to stretch your legs, get some exercise at the same time. And I think that really helps. And just stay active, like just try to stay active as possible, because I feel like with me having 5 kids, the one question is, oh my gosh, how do you stay so thin? Like, how are you so thin after having 5 kids? I don't think you realize how active I am in my day, all day, every day. It's not like I'm just sitting on the couch eating, bonbons and watching TV. Like I constantly have to be cooking, cleaning, doing laundry, going here, going there, dropping him off, picking her up, going back to the school, going to the bus. It's like a constant, activity all throughout my day. So I'm constantly staying active. So I think that's a really big thing, is just stay active. On the weekends, if it's not a nice weekend, walk around the mall. Like that's exercise, like try to improvise so that you are staying active. Another one would be keep like nuts, peanuts, cashew, trail mix, granola. Keep those if you go to work, keep them at your desk. If you have a purse, keep them in your purse, because those are the type of things that are going to keep you and curb that appetite. It'll keep, kind of keep your appetite at bay so you don't get so hungry. So at lunch, you're not like binge eating, or by the time you get home, you're just like, you can't even take it. You're just like binge eating everything in your house because you're so hungry. You don't care what you eat at that point. So I think little things like that help curb your appetite can really help you lose the weight, so you're not ending up eating McDonald's on your way home because you had nothing to eat. Like you can make logical decisions if you're not so hungry. So I think that's really important to do, is just to keep something like nuts, mixed nuts, trail mix, granola, something always close by so that you can help curb your appetite so you're not so starving when you go to your meal. Also, a really good tip is to, instead of using the regular adult size plate or bowl, because they're huge and a lot of food fits on it, try using a smaller plate or even a kid's plate. You have to think your stomach isn't that big. So, and you don't, sometimes you're so hungry, you don't give yourself time for your food to actually like digest and go down and to feel how full you actually are. So take your time eating, try not to like scarf it down, take your time in eating and give yourself a reasonable portion. Don't give yourself so much food, because if you give it to yourself, you're gonna eat it. So give yourself a reasonable portion on a smaller plate so that you don't feel, you're just eating and eating. You don't even notice it's all gone now. So you can say, okay, I've had this. This is a good amount. I'm going to stop now. I'm not going to go up and get seconds or do this or do that. You know what I mean? So it kind of gives you like a good guesstimate of how much you should be eating so you don't get sidetracked. Also, a really good thing is to maybe like drink some hot tea or, maybe even hot coffee with your meal, because the hot water and the hot coffee actually helps in the aid of digestion, because if you're drinking something hot, it will help your body break it down. And when you're drinking something cold, like soda or cold juice, you're actually solidifying the food because it's cold. So you're solidifying the food, which is making it harder for your body to break down. So if you can't have something hot to drink with your food, then just get a lukewarm water, just straight out of the bottle, straight out of the package. It's not super cold, and that will help your body be able to break down your food better. So that's a really good little tip that I found along the way, is don't ever have anything super cold to drink with your food, because it will solidify it, which makes it harder for your digestive system to break it down. So the next one is kind of pairing off that one, which is don't drink soda and juice, because it's just a drink and you're just adding more sugar and more calorie intake when it's not necessary. If you're a food junkie, then try to stick to your food and don't get all the calories from the soda and the sugars and the juice. If you can just stick to water, I know this is going to take time and it's a process to start eliminating all these things from your diet. It is not easy, but once you start to, go into a good pattern, the same pattern, it'll start to get easier. So try and take that soda or take that juice and fill it with water. And maybe you hate water. There's a lot of different types of water now. There's like smart water. There's like flavored water that really has like Truvia instead of like sugars and stuff like that. So there's a lot of other things that you can substitute for juice or soda that has less calories and less sugar if you just don't want plain water. So look out there, because there is a lot of things. Also, the other thing that helped me when I was trying to lose weight after my son Anthony, since I had gained like 80 pounds the last trimester, Slim Fast shakes. I'm telling you, Slim Fast shakes, and this is not being sponsored. I am too small of a YouTuber for this to even be sponsored. So let's get that straight. I'm just telling you from previous experience. I know that those Slim Fast shakes are very helpful. They really, really curb your appetite so that you're not, getting yourself so hungry to where you're eating, anything you can get your hands on. They really do curb your appetite for a good amount of time. And they have a lot of different flavors, and they're pretty tasty. So try to do something like that, especially like in the mornings. Like my favorite thing in the morning, I'm not really a morning person. I don't like to eat breakfast. So I just put a shake together, like you can put whatever you like in it, spinach or kale or strawberries or nuts or oranges or banana, like whatever you like. You can find a million different recipes, especially with like the NutriBullet and things like that, where they break it down to like a cellular level, so you're getting more of the nutrients. If you can make yourself healthy shakes, maybe in between, or leave some at your job in the fridge so you can drink. But stuff like that will really fill you up and you're getting nothing but good. So if you want to indulge a little bit, you can, because you haven't had so many calories in that day. So just try to make it a good balance. I know it's going to be tough at first, but you will feel better. And in feeling better, you will have more energy. Another thing that is actually very important that people don't think of is get the same amount of sleep every night. Well, not the same amount, but go to sleep at the same time at night and wake up at the same time in the morning. Like, this is so important, and I don't think people realize how important it actually is. Getting consistent sleep every night puts your body on a very strict schedule. So your body knows when it's time to sleep. It knows when it's time to wake up. Your internal clock is already ringing. It's already a good pattern to get on, but it will help aid in the digestion process because your body does certain things at certain times while you sleep. And if you give it the same amount of time every single night, it will do certain things automatically because it already knows when you're about to wake up. It already knows, your day and how much sleep you have. So that really helps. And getting lots of sleep can actually have like an adverse effect on you and make you gain a lot more weight, as with getting no sleep. That can also be a reason that you're gaining weight. Like, there's so many different reasons. It could be hormone, it could be sleep, it could be stress, it could be, just the things you're eating or lack of exercise because of lack of energy. Like, there's so many things that go into like your weight and losing weight that it's kind of, you have to figure out what is happening with you so you can fix it, so kind of like tailor it to you. But you can also do a lot of things besides just exercise and eating that can help you lose weight. Like I said, the sleep patterns, lowering your stress as best you can, and in eating healthy and eating good, like I said, you will feel better. You'll feel better. You'll have more energy, and you'll be ready to tackle your day, and you'll be more ready to handle that stress. So it kind of just helps in all aspects. So back to that, drinking water instead of juice, getting up consistent, going to sleep at the same time every single night. And also another tip that I learned along the way, and my mother actually taught me this, and it's always worked. And my sister actually told me she does this too, and we're all like super skinny. So it's funny because if you are not a very active person, and say you sit down at, maybe you work 10 hours and you're at a desk all day, the best thing that you can do is keep your muscles engaged as best you can. So say you're in an upright position, keep your abs tight. Like, the more you keep your abs tight and the more you keep those muscles engaged, the more they're working and the more you will flatten your stomach. And even though you're sitting down and you're not doing anything, you're keeping your muscles engaged. While you're brushing your teeth, squat while you brush your teeth. Like, I do certain simple little things because I don't have a whole lot of time to work out, but you can do simple little tricks. If you're standing in line, stand on your tippy toes, work on those calves. If you're brushing your teeth, squat the whole time and see if you can make it. So as much as you can, try to engage your muscles just throughout your everyday life, whether you're doing the dishes or you're doing some laundry or you're just sitting down at work. There's a lot of different things that you can do to engage your muscles so that they're working on that fat as you're working. You can also kind of like lift yourself with a chair, with your armchairs, to kind of like, get the little flabby things like I have toned up, so pretty much those are my tips for you. It's kind of a compilation of everything I learned along the way. As far as, it's always a struggle after having a baby, and you already don't feel good after having a baby. It's just like you feel like you look like a mess and your body's a mess, and it just feels like stretched out, and you just don't feel good about yourself. So once you start working out and you get those endorphins, I'm telling you, it's just like something that you want to keep going back to. It is always a struggle at first to not only get into the habit, but sometimes you're tired and you don't want to work out. But once you do, you feel so good. Especially if you can work out like in the mornings, before you have to go to work or do what you have to do. I'm telling you, it makes you so ready for the day. It makes you feel so good, so empowered. You're just like ready to take on the world. So I really hope these tips help you in your weight loss journey. I am wishing you guys all the best. Like I said, it's 2019. This is the year to crush it. Crush your goals. Get them done. Just because it's February doesn't mean it's too late to get back on track. You can always get back on track with your goals and how you want to live your life. And only you have the power to change that. So yes, this is a very big step. But I promise you, you will not regret this step. And not only just for losing weight, but just feeling better and healthier as a person. Because there's a lot of things that our body needs every day. And if we're not eating properly, they're not getting them. Therefore, we don't feel as good as we should. So I hope all of these tips helped. If they did, please leave a like. Please comment down below. Of course, subscribe to your girl Angel, because I love you guys and I got your back. So I will see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.